All right, hello. I'm John Bates, and I am here in Tallinn, Estonia, and I'm thrilled to be here. It's my second time. I have to tell you, I am in love with your country, and I went to school at a high school called East High School in Salt Lake City, Utah, and we called ourselves Estonians. So funny enough, I am an Estonian. And let's see, where'd he go? There's my guy, Flash. Say hi, Flash. Flash. Say hi. Oh, there he is. So that's my guy, Flash. He travels with me. He's my service dog. And we are going to talk today about how to be your best self. And you know what's funny is there are some counterintuitive things about being your best self and the best way to be yourself. And I want to show you how a lot of times what people think is going to make them their best self is actually what's getting in the way of being their best self. And you know what? There's the team that's bringing it to you. Woo! Now, we're about to go in here to Telia, and we're about to go in and meet the superhero girls. So you get to come along with me on this fun ride, and I'm looking forward to it. Here we go. There's one. Hello. Hi. Right on. So here we are. Oh, yeah. Yes. Very nice. Glad to be here. Very cool place. All right.
Okay.
Hey, look at that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So here we go. Make sure Flash is with us. Wow, what a nice space. You having fun? I hope so. All right, wave hi, you guys. Woohoo! How about him back? Hello! So for most of my life, and I'm 54 now. I just had my birthday. I'm 54, and for most of my life, I was about $50,000 in debt. Can you imagine if you owed somebody $50,000? That's a lot, right? Did not feel good. And I was working as an entrepreneur, so I was at a startup. And the reason I was so far in debt is because I had to put things on my credit card that I should have been paying for up front because I wasn't making enough money because I was working at these poor startups. But I had millions of dollars worth of stock. Because when you work as an entrepreneur, a lot of times they won't pay you as much, but they'll give you stock options. Do you know about that? Yeah. Well, those things aren't worth anything until the company succeeds. Okay, you can't go sell stock options to pay rent. And so I looked back over my life. And here's one of the really important things that I found. And there's this guy named Steve Jobs who agrees with me about this. He said in one of his big speeches, and I totally found this out myself, a lot of times life doesn't make sense as you're living it. But when you look back over life, all of a sudden it all makes sense. And some of you maybe are those kinds of people who you know what you want to do. Like my best friend, Jeff Curris, I'm still good friends with him. He wanted to be a doctor. His dad was a doctor. He was going to be a doctor. He did the right things in school. He went to really good colleges. He got his degree, and you know what he does now? He's a doctor, yeah. Hard to figure, huh? So I was not that way. I thought everything was interesting. I was never particularly specially good at anything. I just thought everything was interesting, and I was an entrepreneur. And when you've got your own company, if no one else is willing to take out the garbage, you know who takes out the garbage? The CEO takes out the garbage because the garbage has to go out. And if no one's taking out the garbage and you're the CEO, you need to do it. So I just kind of did everything at these companies, and it meant I never really specialized in anything. And so as I look back over my life, I was freaking out. I know I've said that, but I can't tell you how much I was freaking out. It would be hard for me to explain it without crying so hard boogers come out, you know? And so as I look back over my life, I started to think about, okay, well, what do I have that I care about, that I'm good at, that I've done a lot? because I don't know what that is. And as I look back over my life, I started to see that for my whole life, I had been a speaker for the companies I worked with. I was always a co-founder or an early employee, and my unofficial title was evangelist. Do you know that title? So in the States, there are these religions where it's like, I need a witness. Yeah, I need a witness. Yeah, say it with, right? And so like, that's an evangelist in church, but I wasn't an evangelist in church. I did that kind of stuff for companies, right? Like the first evangelist that I know of was Guy Kawasaki, who was an evangelist for Apple, and he would go around and get everybody excited to develop programs for Apple computers. Does that make sense? You get an idea of what I did? So I went around all over the world speaking to the press and talking at conferences and talking at events and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, well, I'm pretty good at that. And I like doing that. And I've done that for about 10,000 hours, which is what they say gives you mastery. What I have found more than anything else in all of my coaching is that human beings are human beings, and we all have the same things. And one of those things is we think that if they ever found out, they would know that we are a total fraud. You know what? They call it imposter syndrome. Have you heard of that? Okay, imposter, right? Like, it's not actually Daria, it's an imposter, right? So, now here's the interesting thing. If everybody had, including the NASA astronauts and Dolph Lundgren and the top executives at Johnson & Johnson, if every single human being has that, couldn't we just divide by that and get rid of it? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So I went to an event a while ago at a very prestigious place called the Milken Institute, and there was this guy who was 80 years old getting his probably 500th business award, and they did a little interview with him. 80-year-old guy, written about 150 best-selling books, getting his 500th business award. And as they interviewed him, I was listening, because I listen. That's part of what I do for my job. I'm an executive coach, and I'm always listening to what's behind what people are saying. And as I listened to this guy, it dawned on me very quickly, and then I really started to listen, and it was super obvious. That guy had imposter syndrome. I want to introduce you to this thing called the monkey mind. Okay? This is a good one. You ready? Okay, so we're all going to be quiet. I'm going to introduce you to the monkey mind. Here we go. Monkey mind? I don't have a monkey mind. Monkey, what does he mean, monkey mind? Maybe he has a monkey mind. Where did he get that shirt? It's just like, right? That is your monkey mind. It's not you. I think of it like my internalized, scared inner child, like my, little child from a long time ago. Doesn't have very good ideas, is not very nice, is scared of everything and just wants me to be okay, but doesn't know what to do. Yeah? So when I walked in here, you want to know what my monkey mind was saying? Yeah! Dude, they're going to kill you. You don't have anything to say to them. Like, they're all a bunch of, Estonian girls. They're probably going to be all, quiet and shut down like the Baltic people are. And they're going to think that you're too crazy from California and you don't have anything worthwhile for them. You're too old. You don't matter. You're irrelevant. Right? Now, if I would have listened to that, I wouldn't have come in here. And I've been working for a long time to turn that volume down, but it doesn't ever go away. You will always have the monkey mind. But here's the good news. It's not you, and you don't have to listen to it. I usually say, thank you very much. I know you mean well. And then I don't listen. I do what I think is important, what I'm committed to, not what it's saying. Now, I say it's not you. Here's who you really are. You're that big, silent presence listening to the monkey mind. all those nasty things it says about you and your friends and everybody and me and everything, that's not you. You don't have to feel bad. Just don't listen to it anymore. Don't do what it says, yeah? Say thank you, put it in the back seat, put on the seatbelt, and get on with your life. Good? Is that, you know what I'm talking about? Monkey mind? Anybody curious about that still? Did you get it? You got it? Okay. So all these things have a common thread, don't they? The common thread for me is there are all kinds of things going on up here that have no good for anybody. That I'm a fraud, all the stuff the monkey mind says, they're going to judge me. Like, that just gets in the way of anything good you want to do. And it's not like it makes you feel happy, and it's not like it really does everybody around you a big service. In fact, it mostly does everybody a big disservice because it stops you from doing what you would be doing otherwise, yeah? There is this thing going on with social media, I think, where people, like, you know, doctor their photos and they only post when they're happy and everybody thinks everybody else is happy. And you know what? It's not, social media just amplified it. It's not something that wasn't happening before. It used to be you'd look across the street and your neighbor's lawn was greener and they painted their house more recently and they had a nicer car. Like whatever, like we compare. Okay, here's what I want you to know. This is one of the things that I was taught over and over and over by my coaches, and I have taken on, and it has made my life much better. Comparison is a pitfall. Do you know what that means? When you have a really big hole in the ground with stakes in the bottom, and then you cover it up with some leaves, and people go, ah, and fall and die on the stakes. Okay, that's what comparison is. If you compare you and your life to anybody else in their life, that is a mistake. It is a pitfall. You're here to do your life. Don't, like, look, and here's the other thing. That thing you think you have, that only you have, that makes you so that, you know, you're just not okay and everybody else is okay, but you have this one thing, you know, and if only you didn't have this one thing, you could maybe be okay, but you'll never be okay because of that one thing. You know that thing? Yeah, guess what? When you go to the grocery store, there's like about 5 other people in there with the exact same thing. I know, because I talk to them all the time. I coach them, and they're like, John, I have this thing. And if only I didn't have this thing, I could be okay. I'm like, dude, everybody has that. I have that thing. And if the person right next to you in the grocery store doesn't have that exact same thing, they have something so much like it that it doesn't matter anyway. It's just a slightly different version of the very same thing. So again, if every single human being, and I promise you, the ones who say they don't, they're just saying they don't because they're scared to admit they do more than you are, okay? But if everybody has it, why don't we just divide by it and get rid of it? So here's my recommendation. Don't listen to the monkey mind. Everybody thinks they're a fraud, so stop doing that. It just gets in the way. Why don't you go do the absolute best you can, even if you're not an expert? Just go do a really great job anyway. You could do that. Yeah, that's why they called you. And it's not just speaking at TEDx events, right? It's those times when you're in a meeting or you're having a brainstorming session and you shut yourself down. At least make somebody else shut you down. Don't do it to yourself. It might be the most brilliant idea ever, but you shut yourself down. All right. So taking everything that you've heard from me today and putting it all together, I want to give you a lesson, an assignment, something to go try. And I want you to know this is something that I have given to top executives all over the world, vice presidents, CEOs at companies like Johnson & Johnson and Boston Scientific, and even people at NASA I've given this assignment to. And they all tell me it makes a really big difference when they do it. So, with that being said, here is your assignment. And I'll tell it to you like this. I noticed that there have been times in the past when I'm on my way to a party, let's say, and I stop and I get a little cup of coffee, and as I'm drinking my coffee, it spills on my shirt. Now I have a coffee stain on my shirt and I'm going to the party and I don't have time to go home and change. So I get to the party and I run inside and I hurry and try and wash the coffee stain out. And now I've got a big water stain on my shirt. So now for the next couple hours at the party, I'm walking around hoping nobody notices the stain on my shirt, feeling very uncomfortable about being at the party. Meanwhile, I was taught a while ago something that I didn't think about, and I want to share it with you. Here I am at the party, worried about the stain on my shirt, thinking everybody else is noticing the stain on my shirt. But here's the thing. No one notices the stain on my shirt. You know why? They're all walking around the party saying, oh my gosh, I'm having a bad hair day. I hope nobody notices how funny my hair looks. Oh, they don't even notice the stain on my shirt. They're too worried about what I think of them to notice. So here's the thing. We as human beings are very worried about what people think of us. It's just part of being human. But here's the thing. Everybody's worried about that. So here's what I want you to do. This is the assignment that I give these top CEOs that they say makes a difference, and I'm giving it to you now. Every time you walk into a room where there's other people, I want you to stop for just a second and notice that you're worried about what they think of you. And then I want you to leave that worry outside the door. And when you walk into this group of people and you've left your worries about what they think of you outside, what I want you to do instead is put everybody in that room at ease. I just want you to let them know you think they're okay, because they're at least as worried about what you think of them as you are about what they think of you. So here's a great tool for that. When you go into the room and you want to put everybody at ease because you've left your worries about what they think of you outside, because it doesn't help anybody for you to worry about that, by the way. So now you're in here. Here's your secret formula. Ford, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Just ask people about their family, their occupation, the things they do for recreation, and their dreams. And I'm telling you what, this will be the most fun time that you have had in a long time, and everybody you talk to is going to feel much better about themselves and the interaction. You are going to make their night wonderful. So I'd love to hear from you about how it goes. And I really want to encourage you to take the time right now with your teacher in your classroom to practice this for real. Practice this like it's totally real. And I want you to please commit right now to doing this for a while, like a week, a month. Make yourself a promise, set up some reminders, and then go do this, because it is life-changing. You'll love it. Thank you.